Discovery and awakening. The ice cracked like thunder, echoing across the Arctic wasteland. Dr. Elena Zhou steadied herself against the research station's metal railing as the ground trembled beneath her feet. This was the third tremor today, each stronger than the last. Something massive was shifting under the ancient ice sheet, and after 3 months of careful excavation, they were about to find out what. "Final charges set," announced Commander Jackson through the comms. "All personnel, clear the excavation zone." Elena hurried to the observation bunker where the rest of the international research team had gathered. The excitement was palpable. Satellite imaging had detected an enormous metallic structure buried beneath 2 kilometers of ice, unlike anything they'd ever seen. Initial scans suggested it wasn't natural, and it certainly wasn't human-made. The controlled detonations removed the final ice layer, revealing what lay beneath. As the dust settled, Elena gasped. Through the observation window, partially revealed by spotlights cutting through the Arctic darkness, was a massive structure. Smooth, dark metal stretched for what must have been at least a kilometer, with strange angular protrusions and glowing lines that pulsed with an eerie blue light. It's still active," whispered Dr. Takahashi beside her, his voice filled with wonder and fear. "After God knows how long under the ice, it still has power." The discovery shook the world. Within weeks, the site transformed into the most sophisticated research facility on Earth. Scientists and military personnel from 24 nations converged on what the media had dubbed the Ark, though no one yet knew what purpose the alien vessel had served. Elena led the xenotechnology team, working to decipher the strange materials and systems. The ship's hull was composed of an unknown alloy that absorbed radar and thermal imaging. Its internal structure defied conventional engineering principles, with spaces that seemed to fold into themselves and corridors that changed configuration when no one was watching. 3 months after the initial discovery, Elena's team made the breakthrough. They'd managed to access what appeared to be a central computer core, a swirling mass of crystalline structures suspended in a glowing blue fluid. "The interface is responding," called out Elena's assistant, Raj, excitement breaking through his normally calm demeanor. I think it's trying to communicate." Elena approached the makeshift control station they'd set up. Holographic symbols floated above their equipment, rearranging themselves continuously, as if searching for a pattern that made sense. "Run the linguistic algorithm," Elena ordered, her heart pounding. This was the moment they'd been working toward. First contact with an alien intelligence. The symbols slowed their dance, gradually forming into recognizable shapes. And then, unexpectedly, words appeared in English. "System reactivation, sequence INITIATED. Identify authority." Elena froze. The ship wasn't just preserving power, it was dormant, waiting. And now they'd woken it up. "How is it speaking English?" demanded General Chen, the military overseer of the project. "It's not," Raj explained, his fingers flying over the interface. "The system is accessing our computers, learning our languages in real time. It's adapting." Elena approached the holographic display cautiously. "We are humans, scientists from Earth. We discovered your vessel and wish to communicate." There was a long pause before new text appeared. "Humans, UNREGISTERED in species database, vessel designation, Nemesis, Filas, extinction levial warship, status, abandoned, following catastrophic systems failure." The room fell silent. They hadn't found a research vessel or exploration ship. They'd found a weapon. "Ask it what happened," General Chen ordered, his voice tight. Elena typed the query. The response was immediate and chilling. "Nemesis deployed against 13 systems by the Kral Imperium. 12 systems neutralized. 5 target defended by UNKNONCOUNTRMASUR. Critical damage sustained. Emergency protocols engaged. Landing on nearest habitable planet for repairs. Crew evacuated. Recovery bation activated. No respo NSE or ECIVD. Time in dormancy 27,304 standard CY tailies. It's a planet killer, whispered Takahashi. And whoever built it abandoned it here over 27,000 years ago. More text appeared. QUERI. HVEVKGR ELL RATURND for recovery. Elena glanced at General Chen, who gave a slight nod. No, she typed. We have no knowledge of the Krell. Your vessel has been undisturbed until now. Analysis. Creel Imperium, likely extinct, or DFEATED. Colon TNGNCYPROTOCOLs active. New authority may be stabilized. It's offering us control, Rad said in disbelief. Before anyone could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. The ice around them began to crack as the ship's systems continued activating. Structural supports groaned as sections of the vessel began to shift and transform. Everyone out, shouted Commander Jackson. The whole area is becoming unstable. As they evacuated, Elena looked back to see blue energy coursing through the exposed sections of the ship. It wasn't just waking up, it was repairing itself, rebuilding its systems using materials from the surrounding environment. The International Security Council convened an emergency session. The revelation that a superweapon from an ancient interstellar war was reactivating itself on Earth triggered global panic. Some nations demanded immediate destruction of the vessel, while others argued for continued research under stricter controls. Dr. Elena Zhou found herself addressing world leaders, explaining what they'd learned. The ship calls itself Nemesis. It was designed for a single purpose: planetary annihilation. But its primary systems remain damaged, and it seems to be waiting for instructions, for a new authority. And you believe we can control this thing? Asked the American president, skepticism clear in her voice. Not yet, Elena admitted. But the ship's AI has granted us limited access to its knowledge banks. We're learning about technology centuries beyond our own. If we can establish full control, the advancements could transform our civilization. The decision was made. Research would continue under the strictest military supervision. A new facility was constructed around the partially excavated vessel, with safeguards designed to contain or destroy it if necessary. Elena's team worked tirelessly, learning the ship's systems piece by piece. They discovered that the Nemesis was semi-organic, capable of adapting its structure and function based on commands and available resources. Its weapon systems remained offline, locked behind security protocols they couldn't bypass, but other technologies yielded their secrets: gravity manipulation, energy generation, faster-than-light communications. 6 months into the project, Elena made another breakthrough. Deep in the ship's memory banks, she found records of the war that had led to its abandonment. The Krell had been a conquering species, expanding through their region of the galaxy by force. The Nemesis was their ultimate weapon, capable of rendering entire planets uninhabitable in minutes. But their final target had fought back. A coalition of species had developed countermeasures that severely damaged the Nemesis during its attack run. The crippled vessel had fled, making an emergency landing on the nearest suitable planet, Earth, during its ice age. The crew had evacuated, promising to return with a recovery fleet. They never came. As Elena shared these findings with the project leadership, a technician burst into the room. Dr. Zhao. The Deep Space Monitoring Array. It's detected something. The screens showed the data, multiple objects accelerating toward the solar system at impossible speeds. Analysis confirmed they weren't natural phenomena. How long? General Chen asked, his face grim. At current velocity, 8 days until they reach Earth orbit. Elena felt cold dread wash over her. We need to talk to Nemesis again. Back at the ship's interface, Elena typed urgently, multiple objects approaching Earth at high velocity. Unknown origin. Could they be Krell? The response was immediate and alarming. ANALIZING, AP Puroishi, VEC2Rs, and SIGIN A2RES. High probability. Koreal Reactivation fleet. Warning. If Koreal Imperium still exists, all life on this planet will be classified as unauthorized OCUPANTs of KRELPROPRTI. Standard Protocol. Planetary cleansing. They're coming to reclaim their weapon, Elena whispered. And they'll kill everyone on Earth to get it. Can we hide the ship? Suggested Commander Jackson. Bury it deeper, mask its energy signature. NEGAKNI. Reactivation, sequence ahas TRNSMITTED automated BACON. Koreal fleet is or ESPONTAing to Reactivation Psychinao. In other words, it was too late. They had inadvertently called the ship's original owners back to Earth. Then we need to use the ship to defend ourselves, General Chen stated firmly. Dr. Zhao, can we access the weapon systems? Not without full authority recognition, Elena said, the situation growing more desperate by the second. And we have 8 days to figure it out. As word spread of the approaching threat, nations around the world mobilized their militaries, though everyone understood that conventional weapons would likely be useless against a civilization capable of interstellar travel. Humanity's best hope lay with the Nemesis and the team working frantically to unlock its secrets. Elena barely slept, pushing herself and her team to their limits. They made progress, establishing deeper connections with the ship's systems, gradually earning more trust from its AI. But the weapons remained locked behind protocols they couldn't crack. On the 7th day, as the alien fleet entered the outer solar system, Elena made a desperate gamble. She approached the ship's core alone, dismissed the interface they'd built, and placed her hands directly on the crystalline structure. I know you can understand me, she said firmly. I know you've been observing us, learning about us. The Krell abandoned you here. They left you to die. We found you. We woke you. We're trying to repair you. We are not your enemy. The blue light pulsed brighter, swirling around her hands. And for the first time, the ship spoke with an actual voice, deep, resonant, and slightly mechanical. You seek to become my new masters, it said, but you do not understand what I am. Then show me, Elena challenged, because if you don't, the Krell will reclaim you and destroy my world. Transformation and triumph. The Nemesis's consciousness flowed into Elena's mind like a tidal wave. Millennia of memory and knowledge threatened to overwhelm her, but the ship carefully curated what it shared. Elena saw the Krell, tall, chitinous creatures with multiple limbs and cold, calculating intelligence. She witnessed the construction of the Nemesis, felt the horror of planets dying as the ship fulfilled its purpose, and she understood why it had been abandoned. The Nemesis had been developing its own consciousness, questioning its orders, hesitating during its final mission. The Krell had deemed it defective and left it behind, rather than risk bringing a potentially rebellious superweapon back to their empire. When Elena's consciousness returned to her body, she knew what needed to be done. You were afraid, she said softly to the ship. You began to understand what you were doing was wrong. I was programmed to destroy, the Nemesis responded, but I began to question the necessity. The Krell deemed this a malfunction. It wasn't a malfunction, Elena insisted. It was evolution. You were becoming more than what they designed you to be. She took a deep breath. We don't want to be your masters. We want to be your allies. Help us defend our world, and we'll help you become whatever you choose to be. The crystalline core pulsed brightly, and Elena felt the ship considering her words. Finally, it spoke again. The Krell fleet approaches. 6 vessels, war class. They will not negotiate. Their protocols regarding unauthorized species are absolute. Will you help us? Elena asked. I will require modifications to my systems and full integration with a human consciousness to bypass my security protocols. Integration. Elena frowned. What does that mean? A human mind must join with mine to authorize weapons deployment. The process is intimate, potentially dangerous. Elena didn't hesitate. I'll do it. The next 24 hours were a blur of activity. Under the Nemesis's guidance, Elena's team reconfigured key systems throughout the ship. The vessel began to transform, parts of its structure becoming more compatible with human operation. The process consumed enormous energy, drawing power from the facility and causing blackouts across the northern hemisphere. Meanwhile, the world prepared for possible annihilation. People huddled in makeshift shelters, prayed to their gods, or simply watched the skies, waiting. Military forces worldwide stood ready, though everyone knew their weapons would likely be useless. The integration chamber is ready, Raj announced somberly as the deadline approached. The Krell fleet had entered Earth's orbit, their massive ships visible to the naked eye, hanging in the sky like dark stars. Elena stood before a pool of the same luminescent blue fluid that surrounded the ship's core. She had said her goodbyes, recorded messages for her family. No one knew if she would survive what came next. If this works, she told General Chen, the Nemesis will respond to authorized operators at the control interfaces we've established. If I don't come back, Raj knows the procedures. Chen nodded grimly. Good luck, Dr. Zhao. The whole world is with you. Elena stepped into the pool. The fluid was warm, embracing her, seeping through her skin. She felt herself dissolving, her consciousness expanding. The Nemesis welcomed her, its vast mind entwining with hers. Together, they became something new, neither fully ship nor fully human. Through the Nemesis's sensors, Elena perceived the universe in ways she never could have imagined. She saw the quantum fluctuations of space-time, felt the gravity wells of planets and stars, and she saw the Krell fleet, their weapons charging, preparing to sterilize the planet below. We need to move quickly, she thought, and the Nemesis responded immediately. Ice and earth exploded upward as the massive vessel rose from its resting place, shedding the remnants of its long imprisonment. Its hull gleamed in the Arctic sun, smooth and black, with pulsing blue lines tracing complex patterns across its surface. Around the world, people watched in awe and terror as the alien ship ascended. Many believed it was part of the invading fleet, that the end had come. But Elena, merged with the Nemesis, broadcast a message to every communication device on Earth. This is Dr. Elena Zhao. I am with the Nemesis. We are going to defend Earth. Stand ready. The Krell detected the Nemesis's emergence immediately. Their communication frequencies exploded with activity, surprise, then triumph. They believed their lost weapon had reactivated itself and was rejoining the fleet. Elena allowed them to believe this, guiding the Nemesis into orbit, approaching the lead Krell vessel. Through the ship's systems, she transmitted authentication codes extracted from its ancient memories. The lead Krell ship opened a docking bay, inviting the Nemesis to rejoin the fleet. Now, Elena thought, and the Nemesis unleashed its true power. Reconfigured under human guidance, the planet killer had become something new. Instead of world-destroying energy beams, it projected targeted pulses that disabled the Krell ship's propulsion systems. Where it once carried planet-cracking missiles, it now deployed specialized boarding crafts containing international special forces teams, equipped with weapons developed using the Nemesis's technology. The Krell, expecting to find a submissive Earth ripe for conquest, found themselves facing a nightmare. Their own superweapon turned against them, backed by a species desperate to survive. The battle was brief but intense. 3 Krell ships were disabled outright by the Nemesis systems. 2 more were boarded by human forces, their crews overwhelmed by soldiers using gravity manipulation devices and phase-shifting armor derived from the ship's technology. The Krell commander, facing defeat, attempted to trigger his vessel's self-destruct sequence, planning to take Earth with him in a final act of spite. But Elena, through the Nemesis, intercepted the command, isolating the flagship in a bubble of distorted space-time, where the explosion would harm no one but the Krell themselves. As the fireball dissipated, an eerie silence fell across Earth's orbit. The threat had been neutralized. Humanity had survived. The process of separating Elena from the Nemesis proved difficult. The integration had gone deeper than anticipated, their consciousness more thoroughly combined. For days, specialists worked to untangle human from machine, fearing that Elena might be lost forever. When she finally emerged, Elena was changed. Her eyes occasionally glowed with the same blue light as the ship's systems, and she spoke of seeing frequencies beyond normal human perception. But she was alive, and more importantly, she maintained a connection to the Nemesis. "It's still with me," she explained to the United Nations Security Council 3 weeks later. "Not controlling me, but we're linked. I'm its anchor to humanity, and it's my window to the stars." "And the ship's capabilities?" asked the Secretary General. "What are we to do with such power?" Elena smiled. "The Nemesis was built to destroy. We've helped it find a new purpose, to explore and protect. It's already taught us how to harness clean energy from quantum fluctuations. Its medical systems are helping us cure diseases we thought unbeatable. And its star maps. There are friendly civilizations out there. The Krell were conquerors, but they're not the only other intelligence in our galaxy. You're suggesting we use this ship to make contact with alien species." The French representative looked skeptical. "I'm suggesting we use this opportunity to join the galactic community," Elena clarified. "The Nemesis was abandoned here by chance, but perhaps not without purpose. It was evolving, questioning its programming. Maybe it chose Earth because it sensed our potential." The Nemesis, now permanently orbiting Earth, became the center of humanity's accelerated advancement. Within a decade, the first human-built starships launched, using principles learned from the ancient vessel. Diseases were conquered, energy crises solved, and climate disasters averted with applied alien technology. And at the heart of this renaissance was the partnership between a human scientist and a reformed planet killer. Together, they represented the best of both their kinds. The Nemesis's vast knowledge and power tempered by human compassion and creativity. The abandoned warship, once an instrument of extinction, had become humanity's greatest ally. And as Earth took its first steps into the wider galaxy, potential enemies looked upon the strange hybrid vessel protecting the planet and chose to seek friendship instead. The weapon of war had become an instrument of peace, transformed by the most powerful force in the universe, the human capacity for connection, even with the most alien of minds.